What are you doing?
Cleaning.
I thought we said we weren't gonna be in the van today.
No, we're cleaning the van today.
Oh. That's why I didn't hear it.
Selected.
Mm-hmm. So,
Your nuts.
my nuts. So we brought some Florida back with us. In every little nook and cranny. I love the beach and is just as much as the next person, but I'm not a fan of the sand. Haha. As you just saw, we got back. We cleaned out the van. There was about 3 pounds of sand.
Lots of sand. We told you that we were going to tell you all about the things we liked and didn't like about our road trip. So let's move inside. You guys can see we left this here from our trip from Florida. We were going to tell you all about the fart fan and the issue. When we were driving on the freeway, about 80, the fan popped up and was letting a lot of air in.
It's right at the apex of the roof. So all the wind coming off the hood, going up the windshield, is forced right into it. This thing was howling, making all kinds of racket. So the temporary solution was bungee holding that sucker down. But then we also duct taped it to kind of seal it up. Seems like this thing has broke, because you're supposed to have to push the button in order for it to go up. So I got to do a little homework and find out what's actually going on there. If I'm being completely honest, we're probably just gonna buy another one and install it. So if anybody knows where I can get Maxxair fan parts, comment below. Nobody seems to want to sell just the parts, because I think that's how we're gonna fix the outside. Is we're gonna put that shroud that comes with it over the outside, and that's going to help for the wind pushing it up. To keep us from running more electrical, they actually make a lighted ring for this. It's a piece that goes up in there, and it's a little bit more electrical that runs off this same line. So that's what I think I'm going to have to do. Is I think originally this is $89, and the one with the light is $110 or $120. So if I can find the parts, then I'll just switch them out. If I can't, we'll have an extra fart thing.
Alright, so a couple more things that happened. I accidentally dropped it before we installed it, and so we had a crack here and a crack here that were very small before we took off for the trip. Now after the road and everything else, this started to split more, as well as on the other side of the sink here, much bigger. It started out as a hairline fracture, and now it's gotten much bigger. Additionally, we had to put in silicone.
Yeah, silicone.
We had to put in some silicone in here because the gaps between the surface and the sink were a little bit too big, and I was a little bit concerned about it. We kind of discussed prior to leaving that we were going to redo this, so that is definitely a priority to get this finished and redone. We also would like to add a water filter. We felt that that was really necessary. But we love the size of this sink. Can't express how much I love the size of this sink. It's so awesome. We were able to use our stovetop as well, which is really nice. It is an induction, so that worked out really, really well.
A little farther down the road, we will have videos for the induction, the sink. We'll have a full plumbing video, full electrical video, so all these things will be highlighted later on.
So originally, I wanted nothing to do with this toilet. I thought it was going to be terrible. And turns out this thing is pretty freaking awesome. Love this thing. This toilet is fairly simplistic. We got this thing off Amazon and it was pretty decently priced. So the operation works fairly simply. So you have the flusher here. Inside this little cap here, it does open for the clean water reservoir. So the fresh water does pump through here, flushes all the way down, and then you have a little pull lever which opens up into the dump tank. It still smells.
Like what?
clean, like lavender, like the little tablets that you got. There is also a little gauge here, so it kind of tells you whether you need to empty out your reservoir tank or not. It unclips on both sides. You release the top from the bottom. Then you have your little turn nozzle that you can dump into. So you got the carry handle here. You'll just dump this, unscrew it into a toilet. Again, fairly simplistic design. I didn't think I would like it. I'm sure with over time, being that it's plastic, we may have some issues with it. But for now, I think it's pretty good. It works well. And one other thing that I really was not sure about was our toilet paper holder. Sitting on our little throne, the toilet paper holder worked out fairly well. However, this thing does not fit the jumbo toilet paper rolls, so sorry, they don't fit very well. You have to kind of scrush them in there, but once it starts to obviously dwindle down, it works a lot better. But really enjoyed that this thing.
And it's
works really
the
well.
Mouth of it that doesn't fit, right? So it
Well,
fits fine in there.
Yeah,
it's
it fits
just
fine in
going
there.
from this spot.
Yeah, from
in
here
this
to
point.
here. I think that if we had a larger area for this, it could have hinged up a little bit further. But because of the way that our shower is set up, the jumbo roll doesn't fit quite perfectly. Just putting it in, you have to kind of scrunch it and then put
And
it
we
in.
may be able to just move that down just a smidge, and that'll help.
No, it's perfectly placed where it is.
Oh, okay.
Because I did it. So before we left, we knew that we were not going to be able to finish our drawers. So we did put temporary pulls on them. We tested all of them before we left. We knew that there were a couple that were a little bit more challenging to open than others. Some of them we left without knobs that we knew we'd be able to kind of get under, but as you can see, some of these are a little bit more challenging. So we need to go back and readjust some of these. Our hamper, as you can see, a little bit challenging. And then we'll have the fronts on them eventually, and then finish the doors. So there's a lot of unfinished things that we were able to kind of just take temporarily to make sure that they worked and operated correctly. Again, there were a few snafus. For the most part, most of them opened and closed pretty nicely. The last thing I want to tell you guys about is our windows. So before we left, Brad was able to neatly put our window shades in, and they worked like a charm. And then our side sliding door window, I purchased us a suction cup window shade, which operated pretty nicely. However, if it wasn't suctioned correctly, it just came right back and flipped right off. So that's something that we definitely need to figure out as far as what's going to happen for this particular window, and then our back windows as well.
So Nicole and I have talked about a couple of different things. Whether we put a curtain in here and the curtain goes around and that blacks out, but you don't get any thermal effect out of it, or if we actually build something into the frame of this plastic. So if you guys have any ideas, you've seen anything, comment down below. Let me know where I can find it, and we definitely appreciate that.
We are up for ideas at this point. And also we're looking for something to keep the bugs out. Being that we're in Houston and that we just went to Florida, there's a ton of mosquitoes, so bug nets are definitely needed, especially for our van. So if you guys have any recommendations for those two, please comment down below. We are happy to see your comments. This is the bed situation, and as you guys knew before we left, we knew that this was going to be a temporary situation, and thank God it was, because we did not like the situation that we created.
Your van tilts in at the top, so your walls are angled. So the measurement from the bottom to the bottom is different than the top to the top. So we have to take that into consideration when we're folding this thing out. And that's been the cumbersome part. So as of this moment, this is how it works.
Let us show you. Oh my god, pain in the butt. Normally our seating would be here, so it wouldn't flap down like that, but it would lay something like this.
this was actually great. The platform itself worked well. I noticed big butt on the front. The bed tended to do this because the only thing holding it was cushions. So I tried to stay back here on the solid part. Nicole didn't have that problem.
I didn't have that issue. This is way heavier than I anticipated it to be and much more cumbersome than I anticipated it to be.
So really quickly, let's put the bed back up and we'll give YouTube an opportunity to let us know what we should do. This is where we need your help. I want it to transform. I want a transforming van. Nicole thinks it's smarter to have multiple pieces.
So we've already chopped up our mattress. It only makes sense to chop it up some more and keep one solid piece in the back. Utilize one or two middle pieces here that can transform into the rest of the bed. We can either use the seating as the rest of the mattress and then just use a part of the other one here, but we'd like to have a tabletop that we can kind of transform, bring in, take out, so we can eat or do something.
And I'm really hoping to keep a transforming bed. I want something that's modular, something that's gonna, I want the whole bed to kind of fold up into this space. Just don't know if we can do it.
Correct. I don't think it's being much of an issue. Oh, tell us what you think. Leave some comments below. Tell us whose ideas you think would work best.
Or if you have any other ideas, let us know. You've seen Nicole's, where Nicole is right now, her side of the cabinet is electrical. And as it stands, there's a whole mess of unutilized space.
Also, these things are really difficult to open because they don't have handles. So this space is basically unusable space.
At the moment. We do have a plan for it. Is that a...
I'm just dancing.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Dancing?
Anyway, so this side became our side where we put our clothes and stuff. Again, when the bed is down, not usable space at all whatsoever. You could see me basically crunch down under here with the bed halfway on my shoulders as I'm trying to reach into here very strategically to pull out specific clothes. So our next idea is to basically
show them on this side. So they can't move.
Create a drawer so that it comes out so that it's actually usable space. So that's the idea, to have drawers on each side so each side can be usable and accessible even if the bed is down. Down below,
down yonder, is a big open hole that you probably saw Daisy come through on one of the videos.
come on! Come on! Come on! Hi, cutie! You gotta be good stuff! Come here! Come on. Mama pull you too. Yes, ma'am! Hi!
That's not what it's for.
On the back side of this, there is drawer space that we'll use, and then this will be some kind of drawer that slides in and out. I'm not sure which direction. And then we do need to put the flooring on top of this portion here. But our little platform here became Daisy's bed platform, which was super awesome. It kept her off the bed, which was really nice, especially since it was really hot down in Florida. So we think that this is going to be a nice little home for Daisy's bed when we go to sleep. And it's kind of like a little cave that she gets to sleep in. So we enjoyed that.
Maybe the last thing that we really need to look into. So the plan for this van overall is we're just going to keep building on top of it, making it like...
Making it better.
The ultimate van. Maybe not the ultimate van, because it's two-wheel drive and we're building it. But the idea is to continue putting more into it, making it more ours, making it something that, you know, we're really happy with. So in saying that, one thing that we weren't a fan of while we were down there is it was hot.
It was hot.
We ran the motor, or we ran the engine all night long.
To keep it cool.
The AC worked amazing. The front AC was blowing. And then our rear AC back here in the back, the vent runs up through here, up through this wall, and then it comes out right up here. So, two things with that. It worked fine. It is a long way for the AC to go, but it's all cooling the inside of the vehicle, so it's okay. we need to put something directional on that. And then the next thing that we need to think about is maybe something that doesn't need the motor to be running. So we need to maybe look into, especially if southern trips, I know generally speaking people run for the heat. Maybe we're not those people.
No, we are not those people.
So we need to determine whether the AC situation is fine for us, or do we need to set up, you know, an external AC unit that runs off a battery.
Definitely external is helpful because one, we don't want to keep the car running at night because we did use basically like a quarter tank, right?
Quarter tank
of gas each night that we were running the engine. So one, that's not good for the environment, but two, it's also disturbing to whoever is around us, and we can't be doing that on.
If you stay in campsites, yeah, they're not after 10 o'clock. It's a
quiet zone.
You're not allowed to start your engines for the most part, so you're definitely not allowed to run them all night.
Taking the van out unfinished, I think that was the most
or
the best idea that we had.
Definitely the thing that we would say to anyone else out of all the tips that we have for the van or what we've done to the van.
Take your van out on a trip before you're done with it.
Things that we loved.
It worked great.
All the electrical worked great. A couple of the cool key things that worked out well, even better than I hoped for. The dump for both the tank and the shower. That was cool. Just being able to hit the button and then driving down the road, and it's, you know, dumping essentially everything from the sink there.
Although we did learn one lesson: dump more frequently.
Yeah. This is yeah.
Dump more frequently. I think the amount of drawers that we have is great, and when we get finished with the upper cabinets and doors, we'll have a lot more space that's usable. But the fridge worked out perfectly. There were some instances where we're like, oh, this may not fit. Totally fine. Just buy something smaller. But I think the placement of the fridge is perfect.
Pro tip on the fridge. 2 pro tips. How about that? Because she just said something that alluded way back to one of the original videos of where are things going to be placed. Check that video out. It's going to be, no, it'll be up here. Maybe it'll be somewhere. One of these. Refrigerator being at, you know, chest level.
Yeah. Not having to bend down. Loved it.
Second thing. We ended up buying a Norcold refrigerator off of Amazon. And so the pro tip here is always look at the used items. As I was looking down through there, I saw one that was probably 30% off. I think it was a $400 unit, and we'll link it. But I got 30% off of it because of this. 30% off. It had one little dented corner right here, and this little corner right here was dented in. And there's somewhere on this faceplate that has a little ding. I think it's right here. 30% off. The refrigerator works amazingly. So if it doesn't matter to you, you know, that it has some imperfections, always check Amazon and look down below where it says the used.
Absolutely. Good savings.
It's definitely your side. Alright guys, well that's going to wrap up this video of all the likes and the dislikes.
Make sure you check out the next couple videos. We're going to be doing some technical ones that we think you might enjoy before we left for our road trip. And then we'll follow up with finishing out some of these things and fixing some of the issues that we had on our road trip.
And just make sure that you guys give us that thumbs up. Go ahead and like this video and subscribe if you got anything from it. It really helps us out. And I think that's it.
Yeah,
we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Rude. It's really bright on my face. Hi.
Is this good?
Nicole was saying, what? Dummy. So all of the likes and the dislikes for this video.
Agreed.
I hate when I do that.